G'day viewers. Today's podcast is with 68-year-old Ray Lastelle. I first met him when I watched him punch the living lights out of a 23-year-old bloke at Jupiter's Casino in a boxing tournament. A real one, for real. The man has skills, he works hard, he's done 20 years in the Navy, from the 60s to the 80s. He's got a million stories that I really want to talk to him about, and it's coming up on this show. Ray Lastelle.
Speaking.
We're not going to lie. We already did this intro for 5 minutes and we had to record it again, didn't we, mate?
Yeah, it's rehearsed. Did I get it right this time?
Yeah. No. Pressing the wrong buttons over here. Mate, I already know. You just told me. 68 years old. I saw you fighting only a few weeks ago at Jupiter's Casino. Let's not cover that just again. It'll sound too forced if we try and repeat that.
Okay.
But how many Rolls Royces are you getting around in now?
I only got one now. I did have two a while back, but I had a nice black one which I sold. Two were too many, but I've just got a really nice cobalt blue with white trim, and I quite like it.
Oh.
It's actually at the front now.
Mate, what made you get a roller?
Well, in my younger years, when I grew up, I always wanted a Rolls Royce and a Harley Davidson. Mm. And I bought the Franklin Mint models, and that was as close as I got until I got to 50 year of age, and I thought, well, it's time. So I got the Harley and the Rolls.
Wow.
I thought I'll just do it. And I've actually had a Rolls Royce and a Harley ever since. Yeah.
Are they all that? You know, is there... I actually owned a 67 Merc only 10 years ago, and I couldn't believe how great... My dad's got Mercs, you know, so I've been in a few Mercs, you know, but what's a Rolls like?
Yeah, well, mate, I've had them all as well. I've had Mercs, Jags, BMWs, but the Rolls Royce is just a classic handmade British masterpiece in my book. Very, very well engineered. They just float. It's like being in a lounge room. Like, if you want a performance car, you don't get a Rolls Royce. If you want something really nice to cruise around in, the Rolls Royce is the go. And it's just something, if you can afford one, have one.
Yeah, excellent. I saw when we were at Fight Like a Pro gym, you were inside the gym and I had to run in and I don't know, get some gloves or whatever I did. And I saw 3 kids throwing rocks beside it. Just, you know, being kids and in a car park. Do you ever freak out and worry about that great car?
Yeah, I worry all the time. Mainly not from kids with rocks, it's people trying to rip the Spirit of Ecstasy lady off the front bonnet.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because they're worth about $3,000 on their own.
Wow.
And then add another $12,000 for the radiator, you know.
Yeah.
I worry about that because people do try and rip them off.
Right, and just the marks with ripping them off. You know, I had my Merc Star stolen, speaking of that. It was so... it ruined the whole car, actually. The gloss was taken off the entire car and sold it all years later.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty careful where I park it, like, and when I take it out, because they do sort of attract people, and some people, I don't know whether it's jealousy or what, but they'll probably tend to do some damage. So I just keep it where I can keep an eye on it, or it's in a good, secure place.
Mate, what's a petty officer?
It's a rank in the Navy. It starts off as ordinary seaman, naval seaman, leading seaman, petty officer, chief petty officer, warrant officer. That's how it goes. That's the ranking structure.
Wow.
I was actually a chief petty officer when I left the Navy after 20 years service.
20 years?
Yeah, I went straight from school.
Really?
Yep. I was just 16 when I joined the Navy.
Wow. Were you from Wynnum?
I was born in Brisbane, lived in Wynnum Manly, went to Wynnum Central School, Wynnum High School. Yeah, did all that.
Unbelievable. Hey, so, okay. So 20 years in the Navy. You know, I've got a few jobs. I'm always in a 2 or 3 jobs going, and I've noticed I do a corporate training with some guys who are ex-military.
Yeah.
And so I've gone from working in normal company structures to working with this group of guys who are ex-military. And I'll say it's Sabre corporate. And the cool thing about Sabre is, basically we just dress up and raid, company functions at resorts and blast in and give them an hour training session on how to do better team building.
Okay.
We're often dressed in full camos but we dress up in the car parks underneath the Hilton, really weird, creepy stuff with fake guns. I just think this is the wrong time in the world to be doing it. But the cool thing about them being ex-military, and I've grown to I'm almost envious of it, is we brief and then we debrief after. It's as if they've been taught, they've been trained the right way. Everyone knows their position at all times, and every one of them can speak. And it's like if you're in the military, you can do a good job telling groups of people things.
Yeah, and you plan it right by the sound. It's just like a military operation. You plan what you're going to do, and in you go. Ta-da, here we are. Yeah, sounds good.
So did you ever go on submarines?
No.
Mate, I'm going to ask you all the dumbest questions because I didn't have family in the military. You know?
Yeah, no, I was never on submarines. I've been on a submarine, but I've never actually served in subs. That was a voluntary thing because it was a pretty tough sort of a life living on a sub. Yeah. And they usually asked for volunteers. If they didn't have enough, they'd send you there. But fortunately, I wasn't real keen on being in the submarine, and I never ever went on a sub.
Yeah, that's a creepy feeling, right?
Yeah, I was with a mate of mine on the weekend. Actually, he was a submariner. Yeah, we had a bit of a reunion last Saturday. He was a submariner, yeah.
Right.
They're a special breed of person to live down there.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Like you were under there. I imagine, I had a friend just only a couple of weeks ago who had some real trouble. She works on a cruise ship. And the cruise ship industry is known for people jumping overboard who work on the ship. Because psychologically, if they get in some sort of problem in their life, they can't escape the job.
Yep.
You know, they can't actually turn a corner. Like, yeah, you're going to laugh at me because you've been in the Navy for 20 years, but if you're having a bad day here on the Gold Coast right now in your work, wherever you are, everyone is against me. You can clock off at 5 o'clock, walk across to the newsagent and talk to Jono, who owns the newsagent, and your mind is changed and the world's not so bad. But I can imagine being in a submarine or in the Navy on a boat, you're locked into that. And there'd be some tough times. Yeah,
you have your moments. And I have experienced cases where blokes have disappeared off the ship.
Wow.
Not that often, but it happens. All of a sudden, they're missing. We sort of a bit of a search. Obviously, some of them have slipped over the side. Pretty tragic. Yeah, but there's no way of changing your mind if you take that course. It'd be pretty horrendous seeing the ship sailing off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's been a couple of experiences like that. Not real good.
No. I did the dumbest thing once, but it was pretty funny in the old days. You know the Port of Melbourne?
I do, I know it well.
Yeah? Okay, well, my mate's got a jet ski, he lives at St Kilda. And, he's one of these V8 supercar drivers, right? And so I'm on the back of his jet ski. We go all the way to where the Spirit of Tasmania parks and then back to St Kilda thing, right in the middle of this huge shipping channel. I tap on his shoulder as we're going flat out on a 1200 Kawasaki or whatever these things are, right? We're skimming across the water. Man. I went, 1, 2, turn around. Boom. I jumped off the back and I found myself in the sort of open ocean and he just went off into the distance. So I was expecting him just to turn around and go, ha, but he went, whoa. And I just looked around. I'm in the open ocean. I could see the shore, but I went, whoa, this is a bad thing to do. I looked down, I could see, all these, big brown jellyfish. They were about 1 meter round, like well below the surface. Like I could see probably 20. And the nearest one was about sort of 3 to 5 meters below me. Just a huge brown jellyfish. I don't even know what they were. But when he came back, I actually, get me up, I tipped over the whole jet ski. He was in the water again, but it's a freaky world in that water, mate.
Yeah, it's a pretty lonely feeling when you're sort of in there by yourself. I did a bit of diving in the Navy as well, so yeah, had a bit of experience in the water.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that, like underwater at the dark.
Oh, yeah. I was, my main trade in the Navy was a radio tradesman. The Navy has full-time clearance divers, and they're the actual elite, like a clearance diver in the Royal Australian Navy. I don't believe it gets much better than that. I certainly wasn't one of those and would never claim to be, but I was a ship's diver, which which what that is, you can have a trade and be a diver as well and do ship's maintenance and underwater searches, things like that. Nothing like the real clearance diver, but nevertheless, it was a little bit different.
Spooky.
Bit spooky at night under a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything more spooky. When you think about it, that ocean is just filled with mystery. You know, and you hear about those guys in Sydney Harbour, the military guys that, you know, been beaten on the legs a couple of times there.
Yeah, well, a clearance diver lost his hand a few years ago, actually.
In the harbour?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it was the same guy that he was bitten again.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew, and he went back in.
Yeah, well, they used to teach us that sharks didn't bite Navy divers, but that theory went out the window, I can assure you.
Yeah.
I used to swim across the canal here once, but I don't bother anymore when the rules changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, the canals haven't they become to be something, you know? And I heard they tagged some bull sharks. They swim to the end of the canals. That's where they have their babies.
Yeah, yeah. And there's plenty of them in there. They've sort of grown up in there. It's their home now, and no room for the people anymore, I don't think. No, because there was actually 2 killed on the coast that I know of since I've been here, and that certainly changed my mind because I used to swim across the canal and back every day.
Yeah.
And that only back as far as 2000, 15 years ago, and my kids did too.
Yeah.
But when those 2 got taken, I thought, well, I better put a stop to this.
That was like in the same year, I remember, early 2000, I think.
Yeah.
Sharks.
Yeah, bodies. And then I actually dived at SeaWorld for quite a while in one of the shark shows there.
Truly?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, mate. I worked at SeaWorld.
Well, they had a show called World of the Sea Theatre.
Yeah, I know it.
You know the one in the indoor aquarium?
Yep.
And they had the history of diving?
Yeah.
And they had a...
yeah, in the cage, you had a...
in the old brass helmet?
Yes.
Well, that's the part I used to do, was the brass helmet. Because I was a collector of helmets and underwater diving equipment. And when that show started, you know Trevor Long from SeaWorld?
Yep.
You know Trevor?
No, not personally. Only from
You've heard
working
of
there
him?
for a year. Oh, yeah, my word.
Well, Trevor was there at the fight night Saturday night.
Oh, was he?
It was his grandson that won the last fight.
You're kidding me.
And that's Trevor Long from SeaWorld, if I'm allowed to mention names.
You
Trevor,
are.
if you're listening.
Wow, good on him, man. Good on his son.
Yeah, no, his grandson it was, and he won the last fight there.
Mate, I think I saw your show because I would have been working there. I'll guess that this is the year 2001.
It started in the mid-'80s and went to 2000, finished in about 2001, I think.
Right.
And I did 17 years there on a voluntary basis, sort of on and off. Just because I was a collector of underwater diving equipment. Like if you've got helmets, you can't throw it in the boot of your car, go down the lake and put it on and jump in. It doesn't work like that. You need all the support, and you got lowered in an elevator at SeaWorld, for example. And that was the only place I could really do it safely. So I used to go up there and have a bit of
Unbelievable.
R&R.
What are the sharks like in that tank? Would they ever get...
Well,
I consider them like dogs. I surf a lot.
They look mean and scary. In my day, they were mainly grey nurse, but I think the grey nurse are getting pretty rare now because they were a scary looking thing, and everyone thought they were aggressive and used to spear them and just about wiped them out completely.
Wow.
So they had grey nurse in there and a bronze whaler. They can be a little bit nasty, but the grey nurse were pretty harmless.
Right.
Part of the show, you actually patted one as it swam past.
Yeah. They're the ones with the spiky teeth, are they not?
Yeah, you see their teeth,
Long,
very, very sharp, and they sort of curve back in. A few blokes have had their hands stuck in their mouths.
Right. I keep thinking of the Paul Hogan sketch with the where he's on the beach and you got to look out for the grey nurse, and it's just a nurse and then the white pointers.
Yeah.
Mate, I can't believe that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and I actually still collect diving equipment. I got a couple of nice helmets,
Is it creepy being in those brass? They're brass, of course,
Yeah, brass and bronze.
Right.
Well, actually bronze, and they've got brass fittings as well. But yeah, once you're in, you're bolted in, and you wouldn't want to be claustrophobic because you just can't get out by yourself. As I say, you're lowered in an elevator. You weigh an extra 160 pound when you're fully booted and spurred. And at SeaWorld there, they used to lower us in a little elevator, and then you jump the last bit.
And then you're reliant on a compressor.
Yeah, well, there was air from the surface through it via a hose, surface supply, and once you're in the water, you control the air in and out of the outfit, and you control it so the helmet was just off your shoulders, so you could move around it right. You were sort of weightless down there.
You know what's you could really appreciate this, right? Being a sharp-minded man who I just saw fight.